Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Welcome to Ask Rob and Rob, where you send your questions in and we answer them. It's that easy. This week we've got two questions from investors who are looking to pursue their property ambitions away from home. So we'll hear what advice we've got for them in just a second after a quick recap of how to get your own question in.
You have two options. Both are leaving us a message. You can call in by dialing 013 808 0035, or you can go via our website, propertyhub.net/ask. Super simple, and we've got two wonderful listeners who followed that method to a T. First up, we have Ben.
Hello guys, my name is Ben. So I have one investment property, bought just about 4 years ago, well before I became hooked into property and your content, which is excellent by the way. I had never intended on building a portfolio back then, but now I want to get my hands on as many as I can. I'm interested in the buy, refurb, rent and refinance model. Realise that it's far more involved than a standard investment model, which is the direction I initially thought I would base my entire portfolio on. My question is this: I'm priced out of the southeast of England market where I live, and I would be looking to other areas further north to start a refurb project. My question is basically, can this be done remotely, effectively? How easy is it to find good property managers to monitor the refurb? And will my margins be squeezed too much because of the increased cost of outsourcing this task? Any help would be really appreciated, and thank you again for all the great support and content you provide. Many thanks.
Thank you for the question, Ben. And it's a common one, so I'm glad you asked it, because a lot of other people will have been thinking it, but just not picked up that phone. So the good news is, yes, this is something you can totally do. The bad news is, no, this is not something you can totally do remotely. Ultimately, if you're not going to be there, it comes down to being able to trust someone to get on with the job under their own steam, without supervision, and get it done to the standard you want in the time you want. And realistically, from having done this myself a little bit and talked to lots of other people who've done the same thing, that tends not to happen. You mentioned using a project manager, and in theory, yes, that could be your person on the ground fulfilling that function for you. But you need to know that you can trust them and that they will be able to do it to the standard you want, in the time you want, at the budget you want. So you're not particularly further ahead. Really, you don't have to be there every day, but you do need to be there at the start. You want to be meeting builders in person and really getting a feel for what they're like. Ideally, going to look at some of their past work as well if it's a bigger project. And then you really want to be there once a week throughout the project. And that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. But that's really the only way you're going to know for sure that things are keeping moving and it's progressing as you would want. You could push it out to once a fortnight, and in between you could get on WhatsApp and get them to walk you around, show you video of how it's all going, but it's not quite the same. And the way these projects go is it's always the case that the more you are there physically and the more you're talking to them, the quicker things are going to progress. Or to put it another way, if you're not there and they don't feel like there's a lot of oversight, things will drag. Things will slow down. People will get pulled away to go and work on other projects that feel more urgent. It's just the way it is. So unfortunately, Ben, it is a bit of work. Of course, we're talking about your first one here. If you get to the point where you're doing multiple projects with the same team, then you might build up a level of trust and get to a point where you don't need to be there quite so much, and you kind of rely more on doing inspections virtually. So it gets easier as time goes on. But to start with, it is more work. Buy, refurb, refinance is a strategy that can stretch your cash as far as possible. It can get really good returns, but in return for that, you do need to put in the work. So I hope I haven't put you off, and it shouldn't put you off because there's nothing wrong with putting in the work, and it can be done and it'll be worth it in the end. But I think it's important to have a realistic view of what it is you're going into, and hopefully that's provided it for you.
I hope that helps, Ben. Next up, we have a question in from Hayley.
Hello, my name is Hayley and I'm based in Devon. I've been listening for a couple of years now, just trying to save up money. I did save up enough to buy my own house, and now I'm just trying to start again to save for a buy-to-let. But I am based in Devon, so the areas that I'm aware of are a lot more expensive and becoming more difficult to save up the deposit for. So I'm thinking of going further afield for the cheaper houses. So my question really is, how do you get the confidence to invest somewhere that you have no knowledge of? And don't know anyone there. I really appreciate your thoughts. Thank you.
Hi, Hayley. Yes, you live in a lovely part of the world, but a part of the world that isn't necessarily the best for buy-to-let. It doesn't mean it can't be done. People do. But you've rightly identified there's probably stronger opportunities out there elsewhere. So what do you do? Well, in a way, you've kind of got similar things to do as Ben, but you've got a bit of an easier job because you're not looking to refurb. So it's gaining that confidence that you've said. And the way to gain confidence is research and eventually experience. This is an area that you should absolutely not cut corners with. And how do you go about it? Well, let me give you some starter points. First of all, you want to create a short list of areas you think are going to be good for investment. And do keep it short, because otherwise you're going to have a lot of work to do. Maybe even getting down to a couple of areas is enough. Once you've got these 2 areas, it's then very wise to go and visit them. Spend a weekend in both of these areas and go and meet estate agents, go and meet letting agents, go and view properties, walk the streets, speak to locals. There is no limit to what you can do here. And while some of this may take you out your comfort zone, it's a worthwhile investment. Let's face it, with property investment, you're not throwing in a few quid. You're throwing in a substantial amount of money to make this work. So you want to make sure you get it right. Taking that a step further, look online to see if there's any local communities that talk about property, and also look for in-person property meetings as well. And go there not to find a JV partner or anything like that. Just go there to mine knowledge. Ask people where they think the best areas are and why. And really just build up that knowledge and eventually that experience. And then and only then will you have the confidence to move forward. Now, I don't want to kid you, Hayley. If you do this, you're still going to be nervous on your first investment. But with all that research in hand, you'll be far more experienced and therefore far less nervous than you would be anyway. But you still will be nervous. And here's the good news. The chances are you'll be absolutely fine. Yes, things go wrong with property, but they'll go wrong with property in Devon as they do elsewhere in the country. And as long as you approach with that mindset, and we've covered plenty of podcasts on the show about the mindset that you should have when investing in property, as long as you approach it that way, and you're not naturally a nervous, negative person, which unfortunately some people are, then you should be absolutely fine. So research is your key. You'll find that you'll be a lot more confident investing once you've done that. Good luck.
So answers there for Ben and for Hayley, and an answer for you may be coming up if you send your question in. Do get it over to us. Go to propertyhub.net/ask. We will be back to do it all again next Tuesday, and before then, we'll see you for the Property Podcast on Thursday. So until then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.